Good afternoon, everyone. Anthony, Wall Street Trader, 12:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 14th, 2023. This is not financial advice, this is educational. We're here to talk about SingularityNet or AGIX. Subscribe, hit the bell, share the video, click the thumbs up. Even though you can't see the bottom right of the screen because I got that pesky graphic floating around down there. The intraday updates are on Twitter. The handle is Wall Street TRA 12. That's TRA. Wall Street TRA 12. Okay, let's move into the markets. But before doing so, just to note, do you have any cryptos or stocks you want covered on subsequent videos? Add it in the comments below the video. You have to go to YouTube to do that. So get to YouTube with the link on the that you're clicking on and just type the names of the cryptos and or stocks you want covered. In the meantime, let's look over at AGIX. Why don't we just take a quick step back? For a lot of you who don't know what it is, SingularityNet is an artificial intelligence backbone for a lot of projects that are already starting up, and they are using Singularity.net as the backbone. There's a core framework around artificial intelligence that Singularity provides, and there are a lot of projects that help implement some of that artificial intelligence capability. Now, a couple of things economically on the crypto here. We've got about a $213 million market cap. We've got a fully diluted, which means we will see some dilution on this to 362 million. So we're a good two-thirds of the way there. We still have some wood to chop. So further dilution ahead, folks, but at the same time, reasonable trading volume, 287 million shares, or sorry, 287,000, $284 million of Singularity traded in the last 24 hours. Now, a lot of hype around artificial intelligence. You probably read a lot about ChatGPT. Things are starting to come out. And, it's not, to me, I don't think this will ever become human like, at least in my or your lifetimes. But definitely there is better intelligence that's built into software these days. So I'm very confident over time we'll see some really big advances in artificial intelligence. Now, on the website, which is really cool, you could see that they are a ecosystem. What does that mean? Well, they have the framework for artificial intelligence that's centralized within their blockchain, and it is accessible by people who want to use it and add on. Now, there's many different industries this is applicable to: the medical industry, the arts industry, the music industry, things like predicting financial patterns, helping manage risk on portfolios. I mean, it's an endless list. Artificial intelligence pretty much applies to everything. So, a couple of examples of this, and I'll just show you one. This is implementing the SingularityNet framework, and this is something called Spleeter, excuse me. Now, if you look at what they actually do, I'll just give you an example. You basically call their platform with this GRPC call, and you basically call it with an MP3. And what it will do is it figures out, how do I split this out between the music side of it and the vocal side of it? Well, let's just see how that works. It always seems like time stands still when I'm with you. Okay, his voice stinks. It's a terrible, terrible song, whoever made it. However, that's not the point. The point is now I'm going to show you how they've split out the vocals from the background music. Here's just the vocals, which may be worse. It always seems like time stands still when I'm with you. And then they also split the vocals out, as we just heard. And now here's just the music. Okay, so that's just a demo of what these guys are capable of. This is one very small, very, very myopic use case of what you can do. So this is basically the input. You send in the whole song, and then they spit back to you the vocals separated out from the music. And that's how that works. Anyway, enough of that fun little sidebar there, but let's move into the markets. A couple of things everyone should be familiar with, if you've watched my videos, is that I like to look at the US dollar pair version of the crypto, which is on the left side, in this case, SingularityNet to the dollar. And then I also like to look at the inner strength of Singularity specific to its relationship with Bitcoin, right? And that's called the inner strength. This is how well this contribution of Singularity Net does into the dollar pair on the left. And then we'll look at Bitcoin also, because if you do the math, Singularity to the dollar is the same is equal to the inner strength of Singularity Net, which is compared to Bitcoin, or AGIX to Bitcoin, multiplied by Bitcoin itself. You look at the bottom, that is a mathematical representation of the above. And so I look at all pairs, especially when I'm not very familiar with where I think the price action of the US dollar version pair is going. So these two give me the clues I need in order to figure out what will happen to US dollar. So let's go over to the charts. Let's look at the left side of the equation, Singularity Net to the dollar. So looking at the longer term, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so everyone can see. This thing really rocketed over the last week, starting out at 4.5 cents and really shining up to 17.8 cents. And we might see a little bit of resistance ahead up here. So it looks like we could possibly make it up to 25, 26, 27 cents. Again, the hype is around artificial intelligence. Be careful, folks. This is not one of those things you can just shut your eyes and walk away from for a year. I mean, anything's possible. I think we're going to see some turbulence in the markets in February. So just keep your eye on it if you're going to be putting anything fairly significant here. I certainly wouldn't bet the farm on it. It does look like it may rise some more, possibly up to 25, 26. And if we look shorter term, we certainly went from down here 4.5 cents. This resistance, what was once resistance, now is turned to support. This line over here, it's coming back down, but we have a confluence of other support areas. So we got three support areas. We may come down and then bouncy boo back up. And again, it looks like possibly 28, 27 to 30 cents in that range. This thing could continue to rise. Now let's go take a look at the other two underlying to see and validate what we're expecting. So AGIX Bitcoin, or the inner strength of Singularity, which is really its inner strength, which has actually done very well. Now, if you look at the inner strength, which is over here, AGIX to Bitcoin, we're up 5%. And while Bitcoin dominance, which is an indicator of Bitcoin strength, is relative to the overall crypto market, is only up 0.35%. So that tells me AGIX is doing very, very well. And in recent days, what I've generally noticed across many of the altcoins, or most altcoins, is that their inner strengths haven't come as close to Bitcoin's strength. So I think in general, AGIX is definitely outperforming Bitcoin here in droves. So anyway, let's move over to the other inner strength pair, like we just said, AGIX to Bitcoin. We'll flip over to that. Now we have a pretty nice, again, similar to what we're looking at on the AGIX US dollar pair. This thing looks like we could come down. It seems like we have good support around 883, sorry, 0.0083, where all these zeros 83, and right now it's trading at 858. So the support area is around 826 in that range below. So that's the support area, but we do have some resistance at 12, which is a meaningful 30% above where we have this red line of resistance. And if we zoom out, we'll see where that thing emanated from. And it emanated from back here. So we have to be a little conscious of when it gets up here, we could see a pullback once it hits around 12. In the meantime, we're going to go over to Bitcoin, which is the benchmark, the bellwether of the crypto market. And in general, this thing has also done very, very well, but not in terms of percentages relative to AGIX. But still, nonetheless, it's going to move a little slower than many altcoins because it is bigger. But at the same time, looks like we are still on track for continued growth here. So if you take a line and we can take a look at where this thing might land, once I can handle my mouse well. Looks like we have, we still have some upside, but I think we might have a little bit of a pullback here. However, at the same time, I think AGIX could possibly continue its way upward. So in the meantime, the key here for AGIX is for the AGIX Bitcoin pair to stay over 829 and change. I think that's what would help propel this thing higher. As long as it stays over this ascending green line of support, I think we're in great shape. We'd love to hit back up at 12. We just did it literally this morning at like 12 midnight my time here in New York. But we'll see where this bad boy goes. But in the meantime, this dollar pair of AGIX hit 25 cents. So I expect this thing to continue up. Again, it has to pull back. You have to take profits. Everyone's doing it. But then I'm anticipating a nice bounce here back to the upside. And that should be a very short term trade. I don't expect this thing to go on forever. But again, I think many, many years out, this will probably do very well. But I think short term, good for a kick up, but short term after that, good for a kick down. So just be careful. Anyway, overall, that's it. And hope you like this little tune. You can find it. I'll put it on the link if you so much like that the voice of that singer. Happy to do so. So play it to your heart's content. Take care, guys.